welcome to another episode of Bushcraft Dave. We're out on a little stroll today. I'm out in Treeton Woods. I haven't been here for quite some time. It's very wintry, very cold. We've just had that cold snap of weather, like 0 degrees, -1, -2s, lots of lovely cold stuff, bit of snow in the air. Not enough to quite make it feel truly wintry, but enough to really bring on that festive spirit just a little bit more. I'm out and about today with some things on my mind, some ideas about what maybe you could get loved ones for Christmas, a couple of Christmas gift ideas. I did this last year, I've done it again this year. I've been trawling the internet. I've also been on Go Outdoors website as well. It's a pretty handy go-to for all things camping and hiking. And I found some bits and bobs that are around about £5. Most of them are under £5. There's one thing that I've bought that's just a little bit more than that. First out of my pocket, I have got the Highlander salt and pepper shaker. I've been wanting something that will allow me, it's not even just about salt and pepper for me. When I'm out and about on my walks and doing some of my cooking, there's often a few times where I need to do a sort of a spice mix or even some dried herbs or whatever it might be. And I'm always looking for a little container to put it in. And I usually can't find one because kids have been using it for their packed lunches or whatever. So I thought, you know what? I saw this and I thought that'll do the trick. It was on Amazon. I'm sure lots of other retailers are available. And it was £3.95. I'm sure I probably could have got something else cheaper or whatever, but I saw this. It's double-sided, 2 little compartments, sealed at the top and the bottom. So if I am wanting to do salt and pepper, cool, easy. Bit of salt and pepper in there, lovely stuff. If I'm wanting to put a little spice mix in there, some Cajun seasoning, or those of you that watched my recent video when I did the sort of, well, it wasn't fajitas, but it might as well have been. It was the smokehouse barbecue wrap. It would have been quite useful to have that as a little container that I take things in. So there we have it, the Highlander salt and pepper shaker. Not a bad little starting point. Next up is this little thing. It is called the Abu Fan alcohol stove cross beam, cross top. Hang on, I did write it down somewhere. Cross stand. So this was another Amazon purchase. It cost me, let's have a look, £4.68. So I'd been kind of wanting to get something as an addition to my little Trangia cooking stove. And I'm talking about just the stove element of it now, not the other windshields and the pans and the fry pans and all of that sort of stuff. Thinking to myself, how could I make travelling around with my Trangia as light as possible? Now, I definitely at some point would like to look at the Trangia Triangle, which is another option, and then there's a few other sort of non-Trangia made products that are quite useful for holding your Trangia alcohol stove. But when I saw this, and it were, like I said, £4.68, I think I said it was, I thought this could be the trick. So let's have a look. Now, I've not used this yet, and I might not get to use it for a while, but it's just a couple of fairly lightweight pieces of metal. I'm going to say aluminium. So there's like a little screwing patch there. Bear with. Excellent. So it comes undone, and then these 2 pieces of metal, they should, can't exactly show you it sliding together, but they slide together, 2 pieces of metal, and then this will sit directly on top of, inside actually, the Trangia stove. And so if I've got something like a little cooking I mean, I could use one of the small Trangia pans and just sit it directly on this with the flames all around it. So if I don't particularly need a windshield and I'm going to travel light, or really light, I mean, this is the alcohol stove and this, and probably like a titanium mug that I could cook things in, and the stove and everything could go inside that. This is a really lightweight travel idea. So, fairly straightforward. There we go, fastens together nice and easy. Whack that, lightweight, in your backpack. So a really lovely addition to all my camping stove setup to use with my alcohol stove. It's not going to work with a gas burner or anything like that, but it is going to work on the Trangia alcohol stove or any of the other sort of non-Trangia based alcohol stoves that you can get as well. So that's that. 2 things down. Third thing. Can I get it? What have I got? Oh yeah, let's do this next. Anyway, idea number 3. Now this one, I've bought more stuff than I necessarily need or I would give away as a gift. I've bought 3 little things. You could probably just do 2. You could even just do 1. So I've bought a selection of different kinds of jerky. So let me show you what I've got. I have got a Wild West honey barbecue beef jerky. I have got just the Wild West original beef jerky. So those were £2.20 each from Go Outdoors. And then I've got this one. I've not seen something like this before, but this is Top Herd honey mustard pork jerky. I've plenty of beef jerky in the past, but I've never had any pork jerky. And I think the pork jerky was £1.97. So altogether, it's around about £6, just a little bit over £6. Like I say, you wouldn't necessarily buy all 3 of these as a gift. You'd probably just do 1. It's great stuff if you've got a loved one who loves to go in the outdoors and they're just going to like something like that to just take with them to keep them fed and proteined up as they're out on their walks. Which way shall I walk? Up or down? Let's go up. Right then, so I'm going to just have a quick taste test of these. I know opening these means that I'm going to kind of have to get through them, but it doesn't matter. I'll take them as pack-ups for lunch. The littlest Bushcraft daughter absolutely loves beef jerky, so she will be very happy to have some of this. So let's have a try, let's give them a go. Let's start with the original Wild West original beef jerky. Good thing is, by doing this taste test, if you do want to get one, you'll have an idea of which is the best. Obviously do not eat the little packet that's in there. I bet you the texture's the same. Right then, bit of the original. I mean, some people hate beef jerky, don't they? I love it. Well, that original is delicious. You ain't gonna go wrong with that one. Tasty. Let's try the Wild West honey barbecue beef jerky. So I'm guessing rather than being just a sort of a smoky flavour, this is a slightly sweeter, maybe spicier mix. Let's have a try. All I'm thinking is, It's only a very subtle difference in flavours. Rather than the original being quite a sort of deep, smoky vibe, this one's just slightly lighter. It's not too sweet. Doesn't really kick in much more sweet. Even the original's kind of sweet, to be fair. Yeah. Nice though. Last one before I'm all jerkied out. Pork jerky. You can obviously get fish jerky. There's vegetarian and vegan jerkies that you can get out there now. Things like that though that I've seen in the shops, they tend to be like £5 a pop. So they are quite pricey. But they are good and they do last a long while. I mean, like this pork jerky here. I mean, as I'm recording this, obviously, if you're watching it right now, it's December 2022. This lasts till the 9th of May 2024. So you buy something like that, whack it in your rucksack, and you're gonna have that and not really worry about it. Doesn't take up too much weight, but it's in there so that if for whatever reason you're doing a hike, conditions aren't fair for cooking, or maybe even you've forgotten to bring some food, you've got something. Oh. That hill was hard work. Oh, it's a much darker thing. Well, it's obviously different. It's basically cured bacon, and the honey mustard of it is much stronger than on the beef jerky. But I think because the pork as a meat is just a bit lighter, it means that as a flavour it'll carry a little bit stronger. So yeah, nice. Well, I guess if I was going to recommend two of them to bring the price under £5, if you were thinking about that, I would go for the Wild West Original, and then for a bit of a difference, whack in some of this Top Herd honey mustard pork jerky. It's a bit spicier. That warmth, that lingers a lot longer. So there you go. Gift idea number 3. Number 4. I need to get this out of my bag. It's a bit bigger. Bear with. Here we go. Right. So when I'm out and about and I'm cooking, I often need storage containers and things like that so that I can take stuff to the cook, and if I've got things left over, obviously when I've cooked something, a meal for 2, there's maybe bits of food left over, I need something to bring it back in. But often the containers are pretty big. So I saw this on Go Outdoors. It was £4.50 and it is the High Gear folding lunch set. So let's have a quick look at it. I'm taking all my packaging with me, don't you worry. Right, in the top of the lid we've got an area for your spoon, fork, combo, which just sits in there nice and easily clipped in, and then just clicks into the lid. Obviously it's got a lid to keep the containers sealed, but what I like about it is it had 2 sections, one big, one small, and I also like the fact that it is collapsible, which means that if I'm storing goods in, I can either make it bigger if I'm taking stuff to the cook, or equally if I've finished cooking and I want to bring it back, I can increase the depth of these to get a bit more storage space. So with the lid off, let's have a look and see how much these pop out. And it might not be very much. Not easy one-handed. Come on, Dave. There we go. So, quite a reasonable depth to them. You could definitely store quite a significant amount of stuff in there. I reckon one person's portion of food will easily fit in the bigger one. Or even if I'm transporting 2 types of ingredient that I'm trying to cook, I can store plenty of stuff in there. And then when I'm finished, just simply folding it back up. Fold it up one. And obviously I'm doing that whilst carrying this selfie stick. So it must be even easier. Nice and flat. Lid on. And away we go. Done. So for £4.50, I think that's a really cracking purchase. Really going to be useful. Chuck it in my bag. Use it if I'm cooking. Use it if I'm bringing stuff back. Doesn't really weigh a lot at all. Yeah, nice. Lovely stuff. The High Gear folding lunch set. Last thing then. Number 5. And this one's very, very silly. I mean, I bought this more to annoy Mrs. Bushcraft Dave, really, than to... Oh no, it is a serious gift idea. What am I talking about? Although, I think if your nearest and dearest was to open this on Christmas Day and you were saying, here's your main present, I think they would be slightly disappointed, if I'm being honest. Anyway, for £4.98, so just coming in, scraping in, underneath the £5 price barrier, is this. This is fantastic, right? This could be the best gift that your nearest and dearest gets all year, but they won't say that, and they won't say it certainly in front of their family and friends. They might even not say it to you ever, but they might secretly be pleased that this is the best gift anyone's ever gotten. I have bought for Mrs. Bushcraft Dave. She'll love this, although she's editing the video. Happy Christmas! A Shewee. £4.98. It's easy as a bloke, isn't it? Out and about, doing a walk. The call of nature arrives. Need a wee, off you go, into the woods. No, you don't even have to go into the woods as a bloke. Anywhere. Don't matter. But for ladies, not so straightforward, is it? Not at all. Especially in winter. Yeah, we all know, ladies, it's not easy. So, for a £5, you can just stick it in your bag. Really doesn't weigh anything. Let's have a look. I mean, there's some instructions I'm not gonna bother you with right now. But I'll show you it if I can get it open. Maybe this is why it's for women, because men can't open packaging. Maybe it's just me. God, there's bracket fungus all over this part of the wood. Everywhere. And they're all well past the best now. Loads of them. God, I'm in it. Here we go. Managed it. So, you can buy it in a whole range of colours. I've gone for a turquoise, I think it is, or a teal. There's 2 parts to it. So there is a tube, and wrapped up at the minute, and I'm going to undo it. God, I'm Bennett, they don't expect you to be able to peel this off easily, do they? There we go. Shewee branded. The official product. So it all unfurls, and cup and tube connect to give your loved one the option, should they choose, to wee in a little bit more comfort and dignity than they normally do. I hope Mrs. Bushcraft Dave will appreciate the gift. Weirdly, when I mentioned it to my children, they thought it was hilarious, but then both of them said, I want to try it. So clearly no worries about being embarrassed. So we shouldn't be embarrassed. The call of nature will strike us all at one point or another. It'd be nice to be able to do it a little bit more in comfort and easier, wouldn't it? All right. Whew. So there you have it. 5 gift ideas for about a £5, pretty much £5 or under. The last thing to talk about really is to sort of put out there my Christmas wish list, hoping that as Mrs. Bushcraft Dave edits this, or as my ma and pa see this, it might give them some ideas of what I might be interested in, but it also might give you some ideas as well. So I've got, I think it's 5 or 6 things on my Christmas wish list. I'll try and remember them all now, and I'll probably forget one, but hey, it doesn't really matter. First of all, I want to get some leather gloves. I've been wanting to get some for a while, so that if I am cooking over the fire, or even if I'm using the trangia and I want to be able to move the stove, and as the stove gets hot, I've got the option to do so, because leather gloves will end up being a little bit fire, a little bit heat resistant. Okay, so that's something I'd like to have a look for. Not particularly massively expensive. I'm sure you can get really expensive ones, but a decent set of leather gloves that I can use. Not the black leather gloves. They're usually proper hide. They're usually kind of a yellowy beige colour. That are fire resistant and heat resistant, and will let me work with things on fire a little bit easier. So that's number 1. Number 2, and shout out to Firestarter Marshy for pointing this one out to me, one of our subscribers. Seen me cooking the lasagna on my Trangia stove recently, and suggested to me that there is a product out there that is an oven that you can use on camping stoves. When I went and had a look at it online, it actually advertised it in the sense that if you were doing, let's say, camper van cooking, and so you've got your little hob in your camper van, but you're not really going to have an oven, that this would effectively allow you to have an oven that you can use on the hob. But Firestarter Marshy pointed out that it will fit inside the Trangia stove. It'll sit inside the little housing. Maybe on the 25 rather than the 27, but I'll have to find that out when I come to use it. Anyway, this thing is called an Omnia oven, stove oven. Really clever product. It's basically a ring, so it's circular. It's probably about that tall. I've no idea. I'm just guessing from what I've seen on the videos that I've looked at online. But the heat from your heat source, whether it be a hob or a alcohol stove, it goes up and then it will heat the underside of the stove, but it will also be able to get under through the middle and effectively around the outside. And then the heat is basically able to go around the whole thing. So the stove is effectively like a donut, but it means that you can cook cakes, you could cook bread. It's really going to open up a whole load more possibilities. So that is probably at the top of my list. You're looking at around about 50, 60 quid for the starter set, something like that, which is just the stove. You can get all sorts of bits and pieces for it, like silicone molds, so that you can lift things out straight away. You can get, I think, designed pieces of parchment paper that are designed to fit inside it, so you can just lift the product that you're cooking out. So that is something that I'm very much looking forward to seeing. Now then, I can see a lake. That might be Treaton Dyke, I'm not sure. I'll find out if I get a bit closer, won't I? So, the Omnia oven is on my list. Third thing. Now, I put this on my Christmas list last year and I didn't get it, but I still want it. It's a pair of lower Renegade boots, walking boots, around about 150 to 200 pounds, so they are expensive, which is one of the reasons I've not got it, to be honest with you. I want a really good pair of comfy, hard-wearing, waterproof, fantastic hiking boots. The ones I've got are great, but I've had them for a number of years and I'm ready for a new pair. So it's on my list. Whether I'll get it this year, I don't know. I also want to get, this year if I can, and those of you that saw my walk along the rest of the Limestone Way saw the issues I was having with the rucksack that I had. And that rucksack, yeah, it needs to be gone. So I'm looking at getting the Osprey Atmos 65 litre rucksack. I think there is a smaller one that's maybe a 45 or 55 litre rucksack, or maybe there's a bigger one than the 65. But a really good Osprey rucksack. Here we're looking at about 250 quid. That's not an easy thing to sort of be able to fork out for, but it is, if I'm going to wish for anything, if it's going to be on my list of stuff that I really do want to get. I don't want to replace my rucksack that I've got with another rucksack that I'm going to be disappointed by. If I'm going to replace it, I'm going to get a good one. And I think probably the last thing that I want to put on my Christmas wish list, it's for using inside our massive teepee tent that we use as a family. I want to get a Robins cooking stove to use inside our Kiowa tent. It'll extend our camping season. It'll give us the ability to heat, to cook inside the tent. Our tent comes with a stove hole to be able to use. So that's it. I hope you found my gift ideas for your loved ones for under a £5, giving you a few ideas, and even my wish list might have given you a few ideas of things to think about. Hope you found it interesting. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one. It's all good content, Liv. It's all good content.